There are two chemical processes occur. The first one is oxidation, which is losing oil. O means oxidation. I means is, and L means losing. Losing hydrogen protons and its electrons. At the same time, reduction occurs. Reduction is gaining. R means reduction. I means is, and G means gaining. Gaining what? Gaining electrons and hydrogen protons. Returning back to our equation, carbon dioxide in that reaction is changing into glucose sugar. Water is changing into oxygen gas. In the first one, carbon dioxide has two elements, C and O, carbon and oxygen. Leaves the reaction in the form of sugar glucose, which has three elements, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So, carbon dioxide during the photosynthesis gains hydrogen, protons, and its electrons. So, we can call that carbon dioxide is reduced into sugar. Let's write it. Carbon dioxide gas is reduced into sugar by gaining hydrogen, which is found in water. At the same time, water it changes into oxygen gas by losing hydrogen, so water is oxidized into oxygen. And we can write that in that way. Water is oxidized into oxygen by losing hydrogen protons and its electrons. Carbon dioxide gains hydrogen by gaining hydrogen protons and its electrons. But how does hydrogen atoms or protons transfer from water to carbon dioxide? The answer of that question is there is a coenzyme which is called briefly NADP. NADP is a coenzyme which carries hydrogen from water to carbon dioxide. So, the importance of water in that reaction, water is the source of hydrogen, which is the reducing agent of carbon dioxide into sugar. NADP is a coenzyme that carries hydrogen from water, so it will be called NADPH2. Transfers it to carbon dioxide, changing it into sugar. At the end, oxygen gas is evolving as a secondary product. The meaning of secondary product means oxygen gas is not the molecule or the compound needed to be formed by plant, but the plant makes that reaction in order to produce its food, which is glucose sugar. So, glucose sugar is the main product of photosynthesis in green plants. Now, the light and dark reactions during photosynthesis. As explained by Blackman, There are two main reactions occur during photosynthesis. The first one needs light energy. Light is the limiting factor in that reaction, in which light energy is absorbed by chlorophyll A molecule. When chlorophyll A molecule absorbing light energy, it becomes activated or excited. Let's talk briefly about the meaning of excited in chemistry. We know that chlorophyll molecule is formed of elements and atoms C55H72O5N4Mg. Each atom of that molecule, when absorbing a photon or a quantum of light energy, that is the nucleus of that atom, and there are many energy levels, K, L, M, N, and so on. By absorbing a photon of light or quantum of energy, what happens to electrons in that atom? We know in chemistry that any electron of atom absorbs or takes a quantum of energy. That means it will jump from lower energy level to higher one. But that action makes the atom unstable. To be stable, the electron should return back to its normal state or its normal level to change the state of atom from unstable to ordinary one. So that quantum of energy should be lost, or excited chlorophyll A will lose that extra energy and returns back to its ordinary state. What about that energy? That energy is divided into two parts. The first one is used in splitting or decomposing water molecule into hydrogen ions and oxygen, which finally is evolved. But to prevent hydrogen ions from recombining with oxygen again and forming water, that hydrogen should be transferred from grana discs inside the chloroplast, in which light energy is absorbed with water, towards stroma, in which carbon dioxide is reduced to produce sugar. The coenzyme used in that reaction is called, as we said before, is called NADP. So, during light reactions, hydrogen protons are carried by NADP to produce NADPH2, which transfers from grana to stroma. Hydrogen carried by NADP will reduce carbon dioxide into sugar. At the same time, there is extra energy is not used in that reaction, so it will be stored by the plant cells in order to be reused again during dark reaction. We know that stored energy inside the cell is stored in the form of a compound of called ATP. So how does ATP stores its energy? It can be done by converting a compound called ADP, adenosine diphosphate, combined with phosphate group in order to produce ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is stored energy. That ATP is used inside stroma during dark reaction. So we should know that there are two stages of reactions. The first one occurs inside grana, needs light energy, in which water molecule is decomposed into two products. The first one is hydrogen protons and oxygen, which is evolved at the end of reaction as a secondary product, while hydrogen carried by NADP, H2, towards stroma, hydrogen combining with carbon dioxide to form sugar again. And NADP, it changes into its original state, which is called NADP, and returning back again to carry hydrogen from water, and so on. The rest of energy is stored inside the chloroplast in the form of ATP molecule. So, dark reaction occurs inside stroma. Energy needed during the dark reaction is needed in the form of chemical energy stored in the form of ATP. So, why dark reaction do not need light? Because energy needed in that reaction is stored in the form of ATP. But that reaction is enzymatic by a coenzyme called NADPH2. So that coenzyme, as many enzymes, are affected by temperature, so dark reactions are affected by temperature because it is enzymatic. At the end of that reaction, sugar molecule is formed. So briefly, in dark reaction, carbon dioxide is reduced by hydrogen carried by NADP, and the energy is stored in the form of ATP to produce sugar. That's all.